So last week we talked about how the relationship you have with your fans is now your core product, not your music. Your relationship is now your number one priority as an artist. And today I'd like to cover a little bit more about how you actually make that music fan journey. Now, before I go into making fan experiences better, I want you to experience that awesome subscribe button that you see below this video. That would be really great. Helps me, helps my video grow, helps my channel grow, helps notify you when I make new videos. We all win. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. If you watched last week's video, you'll know that we talked about the old artist marketing funnel and the new artist marketing funnel. Now, on the old one, music is typically was transactional. You would sell it, and that was at the bottom of your funnel. Everything you did before that was in order to sell music, to sell tickets, to sell merch. And now, the new marketing funnel is now focused on music as a tool that attracts like-minded fans to you, your brand, and community, which means it technically sits at the top of your funnel now. And because your music is no longer your core product and sits at the top of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel, the core product, are the relationships with your fans. I know artists today hate to hear it, but as much as it sucks to some degree, because marketing and music and everything have kind of meshed, you have to be an influencer to some degree, a content creator to some degree, or completely, to where it's kind of balanced with the music. You have to be out there. You have to have a content marketing vehicle. And just like how you use your music with Spotify or Apple Music or other streaming platforms, your music is one of those content marketing vehicles that now invites someone into your tribe and makes them want to stay with their people. So remember this, the time and attention you give to your fan journey and the experience they have with your brand, with your music, and you as a fellow human being, that is going to determine the quality of fans, or if you make it at all. Let's just say this is now the most important thing you can do as an artist. If you put 5 minutes into it, it's going to feel like a 5-minute experience. If you put hours into it, it's going to feel like a magical experience. So choose your cards wisely and make sure that you're doing what you feel is necessary to gain the fans that you want. Now, I have a little bit of a case in point here, but disclaimer, it is about Taylor Swift. I am prepared to hear from a Swiftie, but know that this is all overall kind of a consensus in the music industry, whether or not you're a Swiftie fan or not. But, Taylor Swift's music, she as an artist is great. She knows how to communicate with her fans. Her music is really no different than all the other music out there. I mean, she composes, she writes, she records, she's out there marketing it, she's playing it live, she's doing it. Everything is very similar to every other artist. But where she shines is her attention to detail when caring for her fans. She gives back to individuals or her community and using it as a social media campaign. Like the other day, I saw a short that showed her walking by some of the workers at a venue, and she stops to talk to them, and I think she gave them money or some kind of contribution or a tip, like a thank you. Like, I know she's given bonuses to her crew members at the holidays. Like, she knows how to take care of her crew and her fans and her family and everyone around her in order to be successful the way she is. And she knows how to speak to fans in on a one-to-one basis, even if the entire stadium, 85,000 people in the stadium are there to see her. Each one of them feel like she's talking to them directly, like it's a one-on-one conversation. That level of fan experience is going to place her leaps and bounds over other artists, regardless of her music being, in the same pool with everybody else. Again, the music and all the other content that you're producing for fans on your social media, on your email, on your Patreon, anything else, these are all tools that help you build, nurture, and establish relationships with fans. And having a music fan journey built out step by step of what you want people to experience at different places, this personal relationship and trust that you build with them through engagement should be something that's intentional, like you've planned for it. It's not something that happens by accident. So be sure to have a journey, have a plan, have a program, and make sure that your marketing is following that. The content you create is following that. The interactions that you have is following that. There are rules to this. and you can't just be out there willy-nilly doing it. But at the same time, you have to be authentic and treat everybody like your friends, not your fans. This experience is going to resonate with those fans. That means that this experience, these relationships, are your new core product, not your music. The music, again, is a tool to influence that relationship. So before we wrap this up, what I want to touch on is whether or not you're just starting out or have been building your musical empire for years, take a closer look at the daily interactions with fans, both online and in person, and see if you can make any adjustments that will help you, grow and make improvements. It could be something very small that can make a huge impact. So you don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to make a lot of changes. Test things. So here are a few questions you could start with. 1, how can you improve a fan's experience at each touch point with you? As a brand new stranger who's just discovered you, what can you do for them, or how can you welcome them into your community? As a brand new first-time purchaser, what can you do for them? As an interested person who's no longer a stranger but hasn't purchased from you yet, what can you do for them? There's things you can do and plan for and try to intentionally use to influence that conversation, influence that transaction, influence that relationship. 2, can you make a promise to yourself to be more self-aware during those interactions and not just after the fact? Be present. Don't just be down there for the sake of shaking hands. Be transactional, but your brain is back putting away your guitar, putting away your drum kit, getting ready for the next show, thinking about what you have to do next. Be present, be self-aware, know what's going on around you, read the room, read the people you're talking to, try to read yourself as well. Make sure that you are being genuine and open and feel like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I should apologize to them. Do the human thing. Like if you accidentally say something or made a joke and it came across as funny to you, but not to them, like just be aware of those things. If you have a way to communicate with these people after that and, reach out and say, hey, I don't want to leave this as a, sore spot, thanks for coming. Sorry if that joke didn't, anything like that. You really wanted to treat this like they're your friends. 3, what can you do differently that makes your brand unique among other artists? Again, kind of goes back to the first question about different touch point interactions that you have with your fans. But are there certain things that you can do that someone says, yeah, I remember that artist because they do this, this, and this, or they did this for me, or they remembered my name, or they did this, and this, and this, whatever it is. Make something that's memorable, make your brand unique, and stand above other artists on a pedestal because of it. 4, how can you stand out and break the status quo? Like similar to the last couple questions again, but just thinking it in a different frame of mind. How can you not be just the generic artist? How can you be known for something? One example of breaking the status quo, I go straight to Nirvana because their music they put out in 1994, Nevermind came out in the 90s. That album is still as relevant, still sounds like modern music to this day. The fact that they changed the sound so drastically, so quickly. I have even heard stories of other artists amongst the people who produced that album and other artists that were around that group at the time, including, say, like the Smashing Pumpkins, having like their jaws dropped on the floor the first time they heard this album because there was nothing like it before. So what can you do to break the status quo? Don't just make music because you're trying to blend in, because you think people will like it. Be different. And 5, one more question that's similar but framed differently. What can you be known for so others start talking about you on social media and influence your brand on autopilot? You want people to talk about you when you're not in the room. That's your brand. If people get an impression of you and it's positive and they love it and they take that to their friends and start talking about it online, in person, away from you, you're not in the room, that's your brand. That's what it means to have a strong brand, a positive brand. So, how can people take what you give them and turn it into something that is essentially free marketing? It gets out there without your help. I know a few of my most recent videos have kind of touched on fan journey, fan engagement, fan relationship, experiences, but these are important because that bundle of topics all focus is on your fans, not you. And so this is important when building your career. If you found today's video helpful, I would appreciate a like. And if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you'll be notified when I publish new videos. If you have any questions or comments about today's topic, leave them below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will see you next time.